My name is Dr. Briscoe. I'm a teacher at Suncoast Community High School in Riviera Beach, Florida. We're on topic 2.3 today, congressional behavior, and we'll be looking at that behavior and effectiveness and those things that might impact the behavior of a member of Congress. So we have our agenda over on the left side. We're just looking at those influences. We'll take a look at gerrymandering and redistricting and also the skill in the next video. So I've got a content here highlighted in red. We've got a describe, two describes and explain, looking at congressional behavior, elections and divided government, and then role conceptions for members of Congress. So I've got those highlighted here under my task. So what will we learn? You'll be able to answer the following questions. How is congressional behavior influenced by partisanship? How is congressional behavior influenced by divided government? And how do role conceptions of members of Congress relate accountability to their constituents? So we've got a graphic here, and we're starting over on the left, upper left with partisan. And understanding that that means that a member of Congress is believing and acting on the ideas of a political party or a group, but underneath that is generally ideology. So I'm going to speak about that really quickly. In general, we'd be talking about liberal, conservative, and libertarian, and how they believe the government should be. What is the role of government, essentially? Liberal would say that government intervention is good, it can be good, and sometimes it's absolutely necessary to protect the rights of all the citizens and also promote the general welfare. Conservative would say the government should not get involved in very much, that being less involved and having fewer regulations is going to add more freedom for citizens. And then a libertarian doesn't want the government involved in much at all unless it had to do something with the protection of civil liberties. So sources of partisanship that we're focusing on in this video have to do with partisan elections and voting laws. We'll get to some of the other things in the future. Here, I just want you to note that we're starting on the ethic here back in 1982, moving to 2012. And what you see is the movement away from each other, less overlap between Democrats and Republicans, meaning there's just not a whole lot that they are going to be willing to compromise or agree on. This is going to lead to gridlock, which is problematic. More members are willing to just ignore rules or change rules that used to be able to manage compromise, promote compromise. They're just kind of unwilling to do that. We've got this graphic. I think I showed you it before, just a question about whether officials should compromise or stick to their principles. And we see going down from Democrats, Independents, and Republicans that we have less and less that would say that you should compromise. We're over in the blue rectangle with the negative agenda control. And so specifically, we're talking about this idea of brinkmanship, which may happen after gridlock or with gridlock. And we have members of Congress who will not give up their position. They're kind of playing chicken with the other party, waiting for them to do something, compromise or something. And, sometimes it is problematic as it has an impact on the public. Shutting down the government, that sort of thing can have a big impact when, things need to happen and there's just not a willingness to compromise, but taking it to the edge is what we call brinkmanship. Divided government is just talking about a presidency that is held by one party and one or more of the houses of Congress with the opposing party. So we end up with some things that can happen as a result of having a divided party, but you can just think about in general how members of Congress from the opposite party of the president will try, to not assist that president in the policy agenda that may be set. All right, results of divided government. I spoke about gridlock, government shutdown, this working, opposing everything that the president is putting forward, not confirming appointees, and bottom line, sort of not functioning as they should, which is doing their job, which is the business of the people, and that's a problem. Remember, you can always pause the video. All right, role conceptions. We're talking about the role of delegate, trustee, or politico, and so we have members of Congress that adopt these roles as a way of deciding what they're going to do on behalf of their constituents. In the House, we find the delegate model used more, and this is mirroring the wishes of your constituents. In the Senate, we see the trustee model used more, and this is the a senator using his or her own knowledge to make decisions that they think are correct for their constituents. And then the political model is just kind of a blend of the two and might be used when there's an issue at hand, some legislation that the public is generally not all that familiar with or paying attention to. When we look at representation, this is just something to think about and what it is that the members should be required to do as they represent the people. Is it just kind of like, okay, I'm a representative and I'm going to be ignored? Does it mean that you're going to mirror exactly what your constituents want? So just something to think about here. So we're going to practice with some multiple choice questions. Which is the most likely consequence of divided government? That's going to be delays in confirmation of federal court appointees. Members of Congress who have adopted the delegate role of representation normally cast their votes based on the preferences of a majority of their constituents. Remember, that's going to be the House that's going to typically adopt that role. Which of the following scenarios is an example of the trustee model of representation? That's the member of Congress who's going to try to close a tax loophole because believing that the money should be spent not to give tax breaks, but to pay down the national debt. So what should we take away? You can answer the following now. I've got listed there about what party ideology is, and and that is going to be a reflection in terms of the policy preferences that members of Congress have. That strict adherence to that policy preference can lead to inflexibility, unwillingness to compromise, and gridlock, and that's a problem. And then how congressional behavior is influenced by divided government. We can just see, groups of members with their parties not working with members of the other party in the executive branch or in the other house, and that can also lead to lack of compromise, brinkmanship, and other things that are not good. And then the last question here about the role conceptions, I've just given a little brief description of the trustee model used more in the Senate, and we've got the delegate model in the House, and then Politico trying to blend the two. Okay, we're back where we started with our explanation and our two descriptions on the left. So we're going to stop now for this video, and I will see you next time. Thank you.